Back here in Washington, chaos on Capitol Hill. Republican lawmakers defy President-elect Trump, with the lower house voting overwhelmingly to avert a government shutdown. Now it's a race against the clock for the Senate to consider the plan. On this tug of war to stop a government shutdown, I'm joined by Joseph Williams. He's a former senior editor at U.S. News and World Report. Joseph, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So this is essentially the first policy decision of the new Trump administration, but they needed Democrats' help to get there. What's your reaction to how this is all played out? We always seem to wait till the last second.
Right. Well, I mean, it's typical of two things. Number one, the debt ceiling and the budget impasses always get resolved at the last minute. This one was a little bit more last minute than usual, considering that they had mere hours to get an act together. The second thing it reminds me of is the fact that we've been here before in terms of the chaos that Donald Trump tends to bring with him when he takes office. Now, he's not even president yet, I remind you, and we already have a president, but it always seems like we have two presidents, and the chaos agency has already started up. We had Trump scotching a last-minute deal, much like he did on the immigration deal during the campaign, and we have Republicans scrambling at the last minute to try to put something together and defying Trump in the process. It's a minor defeat for him, but a defeat nonetheless, given the fact that lawmakers were more concerned with their own skins and not wanting the government to get shut down and have them blamed for it than they were in going against the wishes of a guy who has got an iron grip on the party.
I'm going to come back to that comment you made about the possibility that we actually have two presidents right now. But Trump did say earlier, if there was to be a shutdown, let it happen on Biden's watch, saying it was a Democratic problem. But if Republicans can help, then that's great. That's a lot of spin by some accounts. But how much do you think Elon Musk is to blame for the initial deal falling apart, lambasting Republicans for allowing so many provisions that favor Democrats?
Well, I think that's a big part of the problem. We've got an unofficial shadow vice president. J.D. Vance is nowhere to be seen, or hasn't been since the election. Elon Musk has kind of filled that vacuum, and he's whispering a lot of things in President Trump's ear. Now, certainly Musk is one of the most powerful men in the world by virtue of being one of the wealthiest men in the world, but he's not elected. He's not somebody that people voted for, yet he's got the ear of the president. And I think he's to blame for a lot of this by simply not understanding how government works. He felt like anything that gives aid and comfort to Democrats is a bad thing on its face, when really it was a compromise that has to get done in order for Republicans to not get blamed for the shutdown. So it reveals, kind of, in my opinion, a fundamental understanding of how government works and how it's designed to foment compromise, as opposed to my way or the highway, which tends to be the default position for a lot of billionaire business people.
And in your opinion, what does it have to say about the unity in the Republican Party and support for Trump, or lack of it, that the Republicans' simplified subsequent deal where Trump wanted to abolish or raise the debt ceiling failed?
Well, it's a lot of chicanery going on. I mean, you have Republicans who are very much concerned about their own constituents against the threat of Donald Trump saying that he's going to primary any of them who defy him. Now, it's real politic for them to have to come on and say, I'm going to vote for this, even though it defies the wishes of Donald Trump. And there are going to be a lot more of those votes to happen in the future, mainly because the party is kind of divided on fiscal issues. And there are some moderate Democrats or less conservative Democrats who very much have to worry about what's going on back home. And if they have to face angry voters during a break because a voter didn't get a Social Security check, some members of the military didn't get paid, that's an ugly look for any legislator. And I think it was the lesser of two evils to go against Donald Trump. But this is not the last time we're going to see this dynamic play out. It's in the cards for sure.
I want to get a couple of more questions in, not a lot of time. So how does Trump reconcile wanting to raise or miraculously abolish the debt ceiling, but at the same time he wants to create DOGE to cut excess government spending?
Well, it's a push and pull. There's no way that he can do both. He's probably going to have to pick his poison, and the one that's most palatable to the people on the Hill that he's got to work with, whether he likes it or not. And certainly trying to blame it on Joe Biden, I don't think that's a smart play either, mainly because a lot of people would just kind of shrug their shoulders and point their fingers at Democratic lawmakers, or Republican lawmakers, I beg your pardon. So party unity is going to be a big issue. Whether or not it holds throughout his term remains to be seen.
Only about 20 seconds left. One voice has been notably silent, President Biden. Are you surprised he hasn't weighed in, or is he just getting the last laugh?
Well, I'm surprised. He's probably getting the last laugh now, but I am surprised that he's not asserted himself a little bit more. Perhaps that's going to come later on, but we'll see. It was surprising that he didn't weigh in on this particular issue.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll leave it there. Joseph Williams.
Thank you.